Hello, beautiful NFA Money Mamas. It's time for the very first Woman Entrepreneur Podcast Party. This is a super exciting day. When I came up with this idea, I thought, I wonder if women who are listening to this podcast would want to come on and hang out together. And so I threw the idea out there and immediately got a really great response. And actually, the next one is already halfway full. And I just added another one today. So if you're interested in coming on for a Woman Entrepreneur Podcast Party, go to thewomanentrepreneurpodcast.com. And at the top of the page, you'll see two buttons. One is for the Biz Breakdown session. The other one is for the Women Entrepreneur Podcast Party. Both of those are available to you. You can do one, both, all. It's up to you. This is for us to build community and hang out together. I'm really into hanging out with other women entrepreneurs who are building businesses they love, looking to make more money, looking to scale, and looking to hang out with other cool people. So that's what this is all about. So what we're going to do for this very first one, so you can see what it's like, we're going to have a conversation about lead gen today. I'm going to talk about it for a few minutes. Then each woman is going to share their tips or questions about lead gen. And then we're going to go around speed dating style and have everyone shout out their own business, share what they do in the world, and then have one ask of you. Like, hey, I need new clients. I'm looking for speaking gigs, whatever it is. And so if you're interested in coming on, that's going to be the general format. It's for us to get to know each other, hang out together, shout out our businesses. The Woman Entrepreneur Podcast is growing rapidly. And so I really want to create a network of powerhouse, amazing NFA style. If you don't know yet, NFA stands for no fucking around. So NFA style women who are like financial powerhouses in the world. I'm really into empowering women in this way. So welcome to the show and the party today, everyone. I'm so psyched you're all here. Yeah. And I'm realizing with all of you, it's like, okay, if everyone says something at the same time. Yes. So there you go. If you're watching on the video, some people are sending kisses, we're cheering, it's really fun. So let me start with this. The topic for today is going to be, what's the number one lead gen strategy you've used to grow your business? And I want all of you listening to think about what that would be for you. And if you don't have one yet, that's really important to know too, because lead gen is the lifeblood of your business. You really want to be considering, do I have a lead gen strategy that works? And am I tracking to see where people are coming from into my business? Do I know if they're coming from my podcast or from my newsletter or from my social media posts? Because in order to optimize your ROI and scale your business the most efficiently and effectively, you've got to know where your people are coming from. And it depends on the stage of the business that you're in. If you're newer, you might not have this tracking yet. And I want to make sure I plant the seed for you to know that it's really important to track. If you're later in the game, you might have so many things out there you still don't know. And so it's really important to start going like, where are my people coming from? And I'm going to share with you what's worked really well for me. And then we're going to go around and have everyone here share what has worked for them and any questions or thoughts they have around lead gen strategy. So for me, I would say, and I was thinking about this before the party, and I was going, what is it that's worked for me the best? And really, I would have to say podcasting and being on other people's podcasts. When I started my business, the reason that I started podcasting was because I was on food stamps and I had this epiphany night where I was laying on the floor crying and I was like, what's going on with my life and my money? That's such a wreck. And what am I going to do about it? I realized that I was the center of my problems and I was really, really busy. So I was in grad school, I had 3 kids and I didn't have a lot of extra time. And so I thought, I'm going to start listening to podcasts to improve myself. And it started for me with relationship podcasts because I had left my 15-year marriage having an affair. My next relationship wasn't working out. And I was like, I am broken with relationships. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I started listening to these relationship podcasts. And I realized that, it has to do with the way I feel about myself. I had a lot of codependency issues. And this caused a lot of downfall in my finances because I would attach to people, spend all my money, like so many stories there that we don't need to go into. But I realized my money and my self-worth and my relationships are very integrated. And I got to learn the skills and it helped me realize how you can learn skills to change these things. So I started downloading podcasts into my brain, saturating my brain with everything I could about these topics. And it made me fall in love with podcasts where I was like, oh my God, there's cool people out in the world sharing tips for free. This is amazing. It's like online university for free. And so I thought right then, when I start my business, I'm going to start a podcast. When I started, here's a tip for everyone. I did not overthink it. People make these things so complicated, and it's about sharing first and foremost. When you share, people realize you care and they start to attract to you because you have this inspired force and fire that starts to bring people your way because you're doing stuff you love. So lead gen strategy, one of the most important things that you could take away today is do something you enjoy. Do something that you're already automatically attracted to. And that was podcasts for me. It was like, I didn't overthink it. I started my first round of podcasting in one day, like 4 hours. I was like, I learned how to edit and clip the front and the end. And I just put it out there. And I was like, whatever, let's just go for it and see what happens. So that's all I'm going to say, because I want to hear from everyone here. But the takeaway for me is choose something you enjoy for lead gen. Choose something that you're already attracted to, and then use that inspirational fire to keep it going, because you want to stay consistent. So I released podcast episodes very, very consistently. And here I am today. You know, this is on the Women Entrepreneur podcast. It's my third rebrand, but I'm almost on episode 300 overall, right? So we're let's see, I'm looking at my list here. We're on episode right now. We just released today, episode 48. Okay. So that's for the Women Entrepreneur podcast, but I've released other episodes before that, and I've been really damn consistent. And whether I heard crickets or, sometimes I'd get emails with people being like, this is changing my life. And that one email would just keep me going. And now here I am, top 5% podcast globally, hanging out with amazing women all over the world. And that is awesome. So just remember, lead gen strategy that you enjoy, and be consistent with it, and keep that inspirational fire going and let it attract other people. And then, for me, that also included getting on other people's podcasts, because that's the win-win exchange that it's like, hey, I'm going to give free value. I'm going to be able to be on other people's platforms, that kind of thing. So that is my tip about lead gen strategy. Raise your hand for the women here who wants to go first. And if multiple, okay. Nice. I like it. So PollyAnna, go ahead and share a lead gen tip for your business.
Thank you so much. I have the most interesting and weird lead gen tip.
Ooh, I like it.
Right, which is how I started my business. So I started my business from actually contributorship articles and freelance journalism. And so I was getting into major publications all over the world before I ever launched an offer. And the cool thing that it did for me was it cemented my authority before I had clients. And that was so powerful. So as I grew, people knew that they could trust me because I was borrowing that influence from the outlet. And people always ask me, like, when can you start? Well, you can start whenever. I started before I opened my business. And so it's been really cool to watch it grow. And similarly, it's when you have a column somewhere or you're writing for somewhere, you want to do it consistently. And so that's grown over time. And now I do a column for Insider and Business Insider, and I'm published on average anywhere between 3 to 6 times per month. Nice. And when it's so cool. And when I look at my milkshake, which is the link that I put in my bio, it tracks where everything comes from. And on average, between 15 to 35% of the people who click any link inside of that bio come from those sources. So it's just a really great way to get your genius out and give, just like you were talking about. It's giving that genius, giving your experience, showing who you are, and allowing people to relate to you in new ways consistently in front of a hyper-targeted audience, instead of, like, for example, when I first started, it was all smaller outlets. And it still generated a significant amount of my leads. I had, I think there were 2 or 3 articles that I wrote on a really dinky outlet that looked like it was stuck in the 90s. Like the page did not look professional. And yet I had 40 leads come from those articles that were like, I want to buy what you have. I don't even know what you have, but I want to buy it. And that was so powerful. So don't underestimate the power of the little guys that are hyper targeted, as well as like the big kahunas that, we kind of want to be on. But that's my favorite.
That's awesome. I love that tip. Okay. I can't wait to hear at the end too how people can contact you. It sounds like you have a really great strategy that would be helpful for a lot of women. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Let's go. I'm going to start calling out because I realize it might be hard if I ask people to raise their hand. We're going to go from my perspective to the right. Lindsay. Let's go, Lindsay.
Well, you know what's really funny? I was listening to your episode about maybe 8 episodes ago where you listed out actually lead gen strategies on your podcast. You did a whole episode about that. And I was listening to that and I thought, the one that's worked the most for me has been networking. And that's a very umbrella one, actually. It just is dawning on me as we're having this conversation, just how powerful it's been and how I've been using it. Like, it's just now I'm having an aha right here as I'm like, okay, I've been podcasting for 2 years. And a lot of people podcast because they think the podcast is going to be driving traffic to their site and that's going to bring them in. And that is definitely viable. Where I have found the most clients and connections has been through the people I meet on my podcast or that I end up on their podcast. Hands down, that has been almost the best part of podcasting, has been meeting new people. Beyond that, it's been networking, even like you and I, we met on Instagram. I find people who've messaged me on LinkedIn, but it always goes to that conversation that is just a get to know you conversation. I love meeting new people. I love just hearing about them. And then I have a knack for remembering their gifts and then partnering people together and saying, okay, you guys need to meet and you've done this. And for some reason, I just end up staying in touch with these people and I've built this network and I just enjoy networking so much from my house. I'm not even participating in any networking groups, which I have in the past, but just leveraging social media, my podcast, online, my business, and word of mouth is how it has been the number one lead generator for me.
That's awesome. Great tips, both of you. I mean, really, this is where I love to help people from different perspectives, what have worked for different women entrepreneurs. And I would say this is playing to your strengths, right? Like, this is zone of genius type of stuff where you go like, it's amazing to me how many people will say, I hate doing this, but I'm doing it anyway because they were told by someone they should. And I always giggle inside. I'm like, I get it. It's funny. We watch people who are ahead of us and we think I should do that. I like to have this variety of input from all of you here to help everyone who's listening remember that there are multiple ways to practice lead gen in your business. And it's going to be based on what you enjoy the most. That's what's going to work the best. And I like that you highlighted, doing it from home, because sometimes I think people think networking has to be like live in person. You can be doing this from the comfort of your home in your pajamas, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's like I'm realizing that's my aha here is that I can lean into this more. I'm already doing it. I'm already enjoying it. I can actually just make this my main focus and go, full throttle. That's what I say. I go full throttle and make this like my path. And it actually just immediately makes me feel excited. So I'm grateful to be here to even have gotten that awareness.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. That's great. All right, go for it, Dom.
So I'm already inspired now. I just want to shout out to Amanda. You helped me start my podcast. After a conversation with you, it lit me up and I'm just like, I'm going to start a podcast. So I have an interesting background. I travel a lot for my spouse's job. So we've been to several different countries. We were recently in South Korea. Now we're in Australia. And I've had to learn how to build relationships in person. Because for me, online is good and it's great, but I love the in-person. I love meeting people. I get energy from them, and I feel like I give more of my energy to others. So what's worked for me miraculously, and I haven't really written it down, I'm like, I'm going to get organized about this. But when I do a workshop, either in person or virtual, when I do a speaking engagement, either in person or virtual, anytime I'm delivering something of value, and it's usually related, I'm just going to talk up here and inspire people. Someone will reach out and they'll become a client, or they'll be like, Dom, tell me more about your workshops. Can you serve these people? Can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, I could do it. And it's work. It was so natural. And I realized that part of me, like my logical brain, wants to focus on like, well, these are the steps to like a sales page and all this and do it online and all. But then on the other hand, I'm like, oh, when I talk, it's like the business sells itself because they know that I'm inspired. I want to help. It's authentic. It's not like, super salesy. It's just like, hey, if you're down, if you're game, like I'm here. And this is what I've experienced. And these are the various different kinds of clients that I've helped in terms of their mindset and really going after what you love. And when I speak from that place, when I speak from the heart, it just, people connect with it. There's some people that don't, which is totally fine. And I've learned that. I'm like, oh, I'm getting too fired up here. But when I connect with the right people and it feels right and it feels good, then I know that that's like, okay, this is a great client. So yeah, for me, it's been just talking.
Yeah.
Showing up as my best self and taking care of myself.
That's awesome. I would also imagine for you, Dom, it's like moving to different time zones all the time. It's hard to tap in consistently to something. And so that in-person contact is going to be really important. Yeah. I think that's an important reminder also for everyone listening to think about, reverse engineering your lead gen from lifestyle and how the structure of your life, right? Like, are you someone who really wants to be in your pajamas at home? Or are you someone who wants to be out in the world? I tend to be pretty introverted. People don't know that about me, but I'm very introverted. So it's like, if I go to too many outward networking events, I get super drained. And so I love to do a lot of my business from home. I'm like, I could get dressed up in my office. This is awesome. But for you, it sounds like, you're such an extrovert. I remember that when I met you at that event, it was like, oh, I love her. She is so bubbly and like happy and just like magnetic. And yeah, it was really fun to meet you. Okay. Thank you, Dom. That's awesome. Let's go next. And then I also just want to remind everyone who popped in late, make sure you turn on your camera and put your name in. Otherwise, just come back for a different party if that doesn't work, because we want to build community and see each other's faces here. Dr. Alex, go for it. Oh, you're on. Oh, there you go.
No, I'm here. I have a very loud child in my background, so hopefully he doesn't.
The beauty of working from home.
Homeschooling. So, I just wanted to, I have way too many thoughts. So we're going to boil this down to like organic and paid strategies, because I've had both work for me. But just to reiterate what Dom shared, I'm in this place of pivot in my business, and Dr. Amanda knows me. And I was going to say, we actually met because Dr. Amanda came on my podcast 2 years ago, actually, maybe 2.5 or 3. When I first started, I've had my podcast for 3 years. So it's crazy how those connections get started and all of that. But
yeah.
I'm really stepping into this, doing the things that feel good versus the things that work, because one of the things that and I should say, like, it needs to feel good and work. Like, one of the things that I had a lot of success with, and Dr. Amanda, this, is paid advertising. I actually am one of those few who nailed Facebook ads and, would get new leads and clients. And I had a consult funnel. This is more when I was doing functional medicine and then pivoting into coaching. But at some point it stopped feeling aligned. And so I think there's something to be said for, as you're looking at what your lead gen strategies are. And that's more of an advanced thing. Like, you need to have some money to play with in online advertising, no matter what. It doesn't always just like work. But, I found the things and the pain points that really connected with people who were my ideal clients. And so that's just one that we haven't talked about yet. But what I was going to say is, you want to do things that light you up and make you feel good, because if not, what's the point? And so with ads, like, and I'm pivoting into more of the world that Dom was in, with teaching and speaking and, being on stage, both virtual and in person, and workshops and seminars. And like, those are the things that light me up, and not so much the one-to-one coaching and the stuff that was selling. So it makes sense to me now that I pivoted, but just like, stay aligned and know there's strategies. And so the non-paid thing that I did was I nailed a lead magnet at one point. I created a thyroid cheat sheet, and that thing got downloaded like a lot. So,
yeah, it was amazing. It was like 30 cents per lead, which is
insane. So I did paid ads to it eventually, but it was like, before that, it was a lot. Yeah. So, you can get really cheap leads, but you also have to recognize most people don't read those things. So like, it's really just in the title, I think, to nail that. And they're not always the most qualified. So it's also just looking at like, where do you want to be spending your time and your money? I ended up doing a lot of chasing of, people who weren't really that interested or weren't quite a fit, but it was a good practice strategy. So it's like nail it and also nail it driving who you want into your world.
I'm curious, Dr. Alex, will you add, like that piece of quantity versus quality? And, would you recommend people doing that type of strategy and then just taking the time to filter through the leads?
I think it depends on what your goals are. Like I did that to really quickly build my list. And then eventually I realized I was paying a lot for a list on my CRM and most of them weren't interested. So I didn't get rid of the list, but I took them off of like my active people that I actually have to pay for to email. And took it down from like 2,500 people to like 500.
And the active people who are engaged.
Yeah. So, I think it depends on, and that's with anything, like we have to be clear on what is the purpose behind whatever strategy that we're doing. And if the purpose is just to get leads, then, nail one of those things and do it. And you can do it very cheaply. But if it's to really, grow a business in an authentic way that feels good to you and that brings in the people you want to be working with, sometimes it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality.
Yes. I want to highlight that for everyone here. I think that each person here so far would agree with that. It's about quality. It's about, attracting your 5-star people who really resonate and figuring that out along the way. Sometimes it works great to cast a wide net and then filter through. And then, just like you're saying, going from 2,500 to 500, you could then go, oh, these are the 500 who are active and really engaged. And because that's such an inexpensive lead, that could work. If you're paying $5 a lead, you don't want to do that. You don't want just quantity over quality, right? And so, pay attention to these things. That's why the tracking piece is important, to start going, hey, I'm going to test this out and see how it feels. I like Dr. Alex's addition, do things that light you up. That we want to be doing things that light us up in our business. So we're not creating a prison out of our business, because it's always about the journey, not the end point, right? Because the journey is what attracts your magnetic energy. And so do things that light you up, test if it's working, and be willing to revamp and pivot when you realize this isn't really aligned for me anymore. All right. Thank you, Dr. Alex.
One more thing real quick. Before I moved into the online world, I was a chiropractor, and I literally never advertised in that business. I just showed up, and it grew completely by word of mouth. Granted, I'm in a small community, but I think there's something to be said for just showing up as who you are. And that's a lot of what everyone who's shared so far has shared, like really just being in touch with that, not trying to fit some mold, and just show up as yourself, and people will come.
So. I love hearing your son in the background, like karate chopping or something like that. That's awesome. All right, Norine, last and definitely not least.
Oh my God. I have been taking notes.
Awesome.
I am just starting out, and I'm very honored to be here on this panel, because not only am I learning that what I'm doing is actually working, but I'm learning new ways to do what I want to do. So I am built on community. I love to be out with the people, although I am also an introvert. So that's kind of weird, but I know that what I stand for is needed, is necessary in my community. So that's where I first started. But my podcast is my baby. And so I found that 2 years in, and as I'm building this, I think it's setting me up for success, because after you and I had our business breakdown, I've realized that I need to be a life coach, because what I'm doing on my podcast is actually what I need to be doing as an extra, just trying to build community. I do like what Dr. Alex said about, just getting the ads out there. I've been a little bit hesitant about using those. So it's good to know that it actually is a thing that actually works for people. So I'm really happy about that. So I'm going to get right on top of that. But what has been working for me is networking. Before the pandemic, I actually was going out in the community and doing, speaking things and holding groups and holding court with groups of women, and we would talk about what we need to talk about. And so I found that that is really what I should be doing, and that actually works for where I want to go in the next level.
Yeah, I want to ask quick because not quick. I want to ask you about the thing you just said in terms of should be, because you all know, you've heard me say before, whenever you're shoulding yourself, it sometimes is a have to. And I didn't hear that in what you just shared. It was more like you want to go out and network. So when you say, will you clarify a little bit there? Like when you say what you should be doing, does it sound fun to you?
No, you know what? I love it. I love a human aspect, and like as has been said, when people can see you, they can touch you, they can look you directly in your eyes. You get to build that rapport with them. So I need to be doing it because I need to be doing more. I like to hide behind my microphone.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to really just come out of my shell and just show more face online.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. And that's something I think that's important in lead gen strategy, to learn what works and to play with, is like you're saying, it's like if something scares you a little bit, go for it, see how it feels, play with it. And then, you can always drop it. You can always change your mind, right? Like that's the cool thing about being an entrepreneur, is that no one's telling you what to do. Only you are telling yourself what to do.
Yeah.
So you actually can change your mind at any point in time and just go like, I don't love that. Or, I just this morning, it was fascinating to me because I woke up, I was having a dream of some sort about my business, which is very common. And I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I need to go to a networking event, which I have not had that thought for years because I burnt myself out in the beginning of my business going to live networking events. And lately I was like, I think I'm ready to go hang out and meet some cool people in the community. Probably this is also related to that. I'm about to do a live event in my city, which people will fly in for, but then I think local people. So I want to start building that local network. But it was amazing to let myself get re-inspired in that way, instead of forcing myself to do something that before would have been people can feel the vibe. If you're doing something you hate, they feel the vibe. They're like, oh, this is desperate, fear-based, or it's you're resentful of the thing you're doing. And we don't want to be putting that energy out there. So play and see if it's fun, see if it lights you up, and then you can always feel free to drop it if it doesn't. I want to highlight some of the awesome comments that are coming in. So these are for each other. So this is something that's really cool. When women come on for the party, part of the intention of these parties, even though they're recorded and put out on the podcast, is for the women here to connect with each other. So there's some awesome exchanges going on of podcast swaps and getting to know each other and things like that. So this is also about us networking and building each other up and supporting each other's businesses. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Norine. Let's see. I know your name is not iPad 2, but I don't know who you are. So will you introduce yourself and share with the community what we're sharing right now is the number one lead gen strategy you've used to grow your business. And so I know you're just were able to hop on. So I might be putting you on the spot quickly. And if you don't have anything to share, you can ask a question or just say hey, I'll pass for now. But introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, thank you, everyone. I feel a little awkward. I didn't know that I'm going to be the one to talk right now. So I just want to say something quickly about me. Actually, my name is Goy, G-O-I, Goy. I try to change on the iPad too, but I don't know how. So, and maybe next time I figure it out. I teach Thai cooking class in Monterey, California. Mm-hmm. And basically what I'm doing is it is only one Thai cooking class in Monterey right now. And I think that when I start doing this, I didn't think too much about it. I just thought that I wanted to build something over time that I can do when I'm retired. So I can teach cooking class until I'm retired. That's just, the original plan. I didn't plan to make it huge or, I didn't plan to make it I'm going to open, a huge school or anything like that at all. But it's I want to build something on the side over time that, because I know business it takes time to grow. And then when I'm older, I can still do this. So, and
that's fun.
That's basically overall.
That's awesome. Will you share how you've attracted people to your business?
So I have my website, and I also put it on a different platform, like a Airbnb experience, TripAdvisor.
Oh, smart.
And that's how people find me. Originally people who is my customer are tourists or traveler, because Monterey, California is like a tourist town. People always come here from all over the world all year round.
Yeah.
And then when pandemic hit, everything shut down. And it's funny enough, actually make Thai fun. Actually, the business itself called Thai is Fun. And it make it more popular than ever. I think because people stay at home, they don't have anything to do. Everybody loves Thai food, so they're looking, to do.
I love it. I love that idea. I'm like, I want to come there and take your class. It sounds super fun to me. That's awesome. Oh, great. Thank you so much for coming on. We're going to do a round now of everyone sharing. This is like, I think of the speed dating style. One of the podcasts that I get on and do this, it's like, he calls it speed dating style. I'm like, it's fun. It's like, I want everyone to share your name, your business, and then a giveaway for the audience, if you have one, and like a request. So name, business, giveaway, request. And this just is so that everyone listening can plug into your resources and then also help each other out. If you are asking for a request, make sure you give away and spell it out of how people can contact you. And so let's start let's go with Norine first.
Now I feel like you're picking on me.
I'm not in any way. I didn't want, you were almost last time, so I wanted you to go first this time.
I feel like I'm in a classroom where the teacher notices that you're not paying attention and you're doing something else, and they're like, I got her.
Yeah, the women will know next time they come on, be like, pay attention because she could call on me at any moment.
So I'm Norine Foy, and I am the host and how do you say it? The creator and host of the Save Our Sisters group and the Save Our Sisters Unplug podcast. I always have a way of how I want to word that. And pretty much in this space, I empower women to share their survival to success stories. So there's a lot of women that have been silenced. They have had trauma happen to them in certain stages of their lives, and they've been silenced and they don't want to share it. So I encourage them to share that. So in my space, which is where my community is, in my space, I encourage them to just speak out and talk about what's happened to them. Because if we don't talk about it, we stay stuck. And so if we don't move on, we stay there, we don't grow. Sometimes we would project it onto other people unknowingly. And this is what I do. On my podcast, which is my baby, I go deeper. We not only talk about the trauma, we talk about the trauma as if it just happened yesterday. So that's why it's unplugged, because nothing is off limits. I do have to put some disclaimers out there because some of the trauma is graphic. But this is what we do. What's my next assignment?
Yeah. So share if you a freebie could be just for them to listen to the podcast, whatever a giveaway you have for the audience.
I don't have a giveaway yet because Dr. Amanda, you just called and I just answered. So I didn't even ask you what the topic was going to be like, what the platform was going to be like.
That's
so
great.
Totally unprepared.
Tell them where they can find your podcast.
They can definitely find my podcast. It's called the Save Our Sisters Unplugged, and you can find it on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, we're on there. And I would love to invite women on here that has a story to tell, or if you have something that you can share with other women that we can all take away from, because that is really what we're wanting to do, is just strengthen our sisterhood.
Awesome. And what's the best way if anyone listening or here at this party now wants to connect with Norine, what's the best way for them to contact you to be a guest on your podcast?
They can definitely email me at saveour sisters2020@gmail.com, or they can, they can IM me on Instagram. It's Save Our Sisters _2020,
Awesome. Okay. Great. Thank you. And for all of the women that are here on the party right now, make sure that you put everything in the chat, put your name, your biz address, the best place. And remember in Zoom chat, you got to do the HTTPS if you want it to direct link. And then that way, all of you here are networking together and connecting and sharing resources, even connecting on, the different social media platforms. So share your favorite social media platform, that kind of thing. All right, let's go with you next, Dr. Alex.
Hopefully there's no screaming in the background. So my name is Dr. Alex Swenson-Ridley. I am the founder of Emergent Women Enterprises, which currently has a DBA of Emergent Women Coaching, but I'm going to change that soon. And I'm the host and creator of the Selfless Syndrome show, author of the book, The Selfless Syndrome, The Key to Transforming Your Hormones and Getting Your Energy Back. Every woman everywhere needs to read it. And what I really stand for, and I'm now pivoting into being a professional speaker and doing more seminars and workshops and like things I'm so excited about and have so much energy around and can't even wait. But I really speak to and help women rise through adversity, connect to their intuition, and transform their hormones and get their energy back. So that's
Love it.
in a nutshell. And I do have a link to download the first chapter of my book, which is if you go to emergentwomencoaching.com, and I'll spell emergent as EMERGENT, womencoaching.com / I don't remember. It's on the front page.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's a little long.
Okay.
And then for speaking stuff, if you go to bookdralex.com.
Awesome. Great resources there. And do you have a request from the audience?
I am super energized and excited to just be on more stages, whether virtual or like definitely in person. I'm so ready to get back into that. So I'm looking for opportunities, whether it's connecting on other podcasts or, events that are looking for speakers, just any of that I would so appreciate.
Wonderful.
Ideas,
Awesome.
reach out,
Okay.
and bookdralex.com to learn more about
And
what I do.
for if people have want to request you as a speaker for podcast or anything like that, would Book Dr. Alex be the place to go, or would you want them to just email you?
You can just email me.
Okay.
It's either
And
one. Dr.
what's-
Alex, DRALEX at emergentwomencoaching.com.
Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, it's interesting when you're on a Zoom and you forget like, oh, I got to spell everything out for people who are podcasting. And then don't forget or listening on the podcast. If you are on the podcast listening, and if you're like me, I generally multitask when I'm listening to podcasts. So if you're interested in going back, I like take a screenshot and I'll go, I need to go back to that person. And definitely everything's in the description. You just click the little down button and I'll have links for these in the description. And so you'll have a connection with everyone there as well. All right, PollyAnna, you are up next.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast. I am PollyAnna Brown, and I am a publicity strategist as well as a messaging strategist and ghostwriter. And I really help business owners get their message in front of millions of ideal clients. And I have all kinds of freebies, all kinds. So if you check out my link, which is, it's my milkshake. It is msha.ke/PollyAnna Writes, WRITES. You can go there and get tons of free goodies. It also links all of my social media, which I just have tons of free content that is just value driven, because I really believe in people being in charge of their message and getting to share it in their way, authentically, the way that they decide according to their rules. So that is probably the best way to get a hold of me also.
Okay, awesome. And so when people go to your website, they have resources that they can opt into and then they'll be connected with you?
Oh yeah, there's a whole list.
Okay, awesome. Wonderful. I wanted to ask, milkshake. I haven't heard this term before. What does that mean?
Milkshake is so cool. So Milkshake is think of it like a mobile website that you can put in every single bio. It's really simple and it's really beautiful, which I love. It's clean, really simple to scroll through, and it makes the process of finding all of your resources super uncomplicated. So just simple and straightforward.
Cool. Okay. So it's like an app or a software.
Yeah. It's an app that then you attach, and it looks like this. Let's see if it'll show.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like a card almost, or like a link list. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's like a more clean link tree, and it doesn't have the same, there's a lot of disclaimers that pop up when you have a link tree that do not pop up when you have a milkshake.
Okay. Cool. Great resource for everyone here. So would people just go to milkshake and type it in and they'll like milkshake something, I'm sure. Because if you just type milkshake into Google, I'm sure that doesn't get you there.
If you go to your app store and type in milkshake, it'll come right up, and it should say something about building a website, like a mobile website.
Cool. Okay. So milkshake, awesome resource. And then thank you so much. I mean, I think that every single person here on the party right now and every woman listening, PR is powerful. Like we need more PR. So it sounds like you are a master at helping people get out there more. So definitely check PollyAnna out. Of course, links again are in the show notes. Go for it, Lindsay.
Excellent. Thank you so much again for inviting me here. I'm excited. Sorry, I'm still getting over a cold, if you could tell. Anyway,
we're glad you made it anyway.
Yes, I was like, I don't think it's that bad that I shouldn't come in. So here I am. But my name is Lindsay Sutherland. My website is lindsaysutherland.com, and it's Sutherland like Kiefer Sutherland, the actor. It's not Southerland, which is how everybody likes to pretend to spell it there. But I essentially help women find businesses that align with their truth, and that often expands into every area of their life, ultimately living the freedom lifestyle. Myself, I left the big city for a log cabin in the woods. I ditched everything and started over with my family. That's my story. And that's kind of what I offer to people, is to help them to really pivot and live that extraordinary life, live the legacy. Don't just leave the legacy, essentially. So that's what I do. I have a really fun coloring book that I've designed, and you can download the pages for free on my website. Right at the top, you'll see. So that's a gift for everybody listening. What's even more exciting is very soon, I'm actually in the works of doing this now, I've created a podcast that creates an affirmation episode to go with the coloring. Because I think as women and as business owners, we often struggle with things like courage and just believing that we have the power that we already have, but we doubt ourselves so much. So these are just so great to start your day with really uplifting way. Color your affirmation and listen to the words come into your subconscious, right? And start your day with that positivity. So feel free to check that out at lindsaysutherland.com.
Cool. That's so unique. I've never heard that combination before. That's amazing. Thank you, Lindsay. Really cool. Okay. So lindsaysutherland.com. Go check her out. It sounds like she's got awesome resources for you. I love that. Live the legacy, right? Live the legacy. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Even though this is where I love it when women show up together, they're like, hey, I don't feel like my top 100% maybe, and they still show up. And that's awesome. So thank you for being here. Okay, go for it, Dom.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Dom Narciso, and I'm a high performance coach for women entrepreneurs and leaders. I just want to say kudos to you, Amanda. This is effing awesome. I'm getting so inspired right now. So just a little brief background on me. I used to work as a U.S. diplomat, and then started figuring out and trying to understand what I really, really wanted to do. And even though I was doing the work that was super prestigious, and I studied at Georgetown, did all this great stuff, in my heart of hearts, I am a servant leader, and I want to inspire others to live out their purpose. And so I use high performance coaching as a way to do that, because I've seen so many high achieving women, especially, they are great at their job. They can get promoted, but they're not happy. And so what I want to help them do is find the thing that makes them happy, because happy people create happy communities, create happy countries. So what else? I do speaking. I'm an author, got a book here. I wrote this during the pandemic. It's called Live Your New Story. And this is actually, speaking of simplicity for business, I was doing 1,000 things because I'm so interested and so curious about everything. But now I'm really focusing in on teaching folks how to transition and learn how to have a new identity, especially as an entrepreneur, or stepping into your power, even whatever that means for you. And I do a podcast called The Positive Success Show, where I talk about, I bring on awesome guests, creative entrepreneurial women, leaders, and just to get inspired, because I think we all need each other and to lift each other up. To continue living the dream or living the legacy, as Lindsay was saying. In terms of getting in touch with me, you can visit my website, domnarciso.com. I have a a free a giveaway. It's like 5 elements of happy success, where I take you through these very basic personal development questions, but it's what got me started on this path to entrepreneurship. And then my big request is, if you know any speaking events, virtual, since I'm here in Australia, or if you have any contacts in Australia, I'm really looking to inspire live audiences and to really step into that speaking space. Yeah.
Wonderful. Will you spell your website, because not everyone will know how to spell your name?
Sure. It's DOMN as in Nancy, ARCISO.com.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, all that stuff.
Yeah, she is a rock star. And I have a special place in my heart for Dom, because she got me to do my very first video ever. Like, I mean, and it all started from there. Like, it was amazing. We have such a fun story. So yes, thanks for being here, Dom. It's fun to see you right now. All right, let's see. I know that when you came on, Goy, you shared a little bit, but you came in a little late. So just go ahead again, share your name, business, and then a request from the audience or where they can find your cooking class.
Oh, yes. So my cooking class that you can find is online, thaiisfun.com. Really simple, thaiisfun.com. And if you want to contact me, you can do Goy, Goi, thaiisfun@gmail.com.
Nice.
And I would like everybody get a chance to check my website. And if you want to ask any question related to Thai food, Thai cuisine, or have any comment about, maybe you experience eating Thai food somewhere that's really awesome, you can, write your comment and say, hey, I'm here in the world. I went to this restaurant, I ordered this, this Thai restaurant, and they offer whatever that I ordered, and it's amazing. So I think that I want to build community, so anyone can, share their experience or question. And then, if I can answer, then I will, put the answer on the community page, which is called Let's Talk. And, but overall, actually, I do Thai cooking class in Monterey. And I still thinking about, doing online, because a lot of people ask me about it. I like to do things personally. I have been teaching over 25 years. I would not say that I'm a chef, but I say I'm a teacher. And I love to be in person, talk to my student, do activity. And I mean, if you, check all the review and everything, so you can understand what I'm doing more. And I would like to, connect with anyone, because
Awesome.
food connect us together, really.
Yeah, I love it. And I want to say for everyone here, I had an episode recently with someone, and we were talking about recording their sessions. So it's like, you record it while you're doing the live class, and then using that as a course, so that you don't have to create a separate course. And if people are interested and you're getting that, so that's one thing, market validation wise, when you hear people requesting something over and over, then you're like, oh, let's create it in the easiest way possible.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I want to be sensitive to time, because I know some people have meetings right at the top of the hour, and I said we would be an hour. So, hey, we nailed it, ladies. Yes. It was amazing to have you here. Like, I had a blast, and I know that everyone listening did. Thank you so, so much. You're welcome to come back. Remember, everyone who's listening, just go to the WOMANPRENEURPodcast.com. You can come on for an upcoming party and or do a biz breakdown session with me. And Lindsay had a great idea for me to create a group of some sort around the podcast. So look for that coming. I'm going to do something where we can stay connected throughout the week and build community around the podcast and continue to accelerate and grow and help each other there. So thanks for coming on, everyone. You're amazing. And until next time, I'm sending everyone hugs and NFA money making high fives.